Stop trying to control everything. Sometimes the mind becomes so loud that even silence feels exhausting. You try to think your way out of uncertainty. You replay conversations, you imagine outcomes. You prepare for things that may never happen. And slowly, without noticing it, your need to control life becomes the very thing stealing your peace. Rumi wrote often about surrender, not as weakness, but as a different relationship with life, a quieter one. He understood that much of human suffering comes from fighting reality, from demanding certainty from a world that has never promised it. There is a kind of exhaustion that comes from trying to hold everything together all the time. And there is also a kind of peace that begins the moment you loosen your grip. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because your soul no longer spends all of its energy resisting what already is. 2. Silence is not empty. Sometimes we avoid silence because we are afraid of what may rise within us when the world becomes quiet. So we fill every space with noise, with movement, with people, with thoughts, anything that keeps us from being alone with ourselves. But Rumi saw silence differently. For him, silence was not the absence of sound. It was the place where the deeper voice begins. The voice beneath fear, beneath desire, beneath the endless conversations of the mind. There are truths that do not arrive through more thinking. They arrive when the mind becomes still enough to listen. And maybe this is why silence can feel uncomfortable at first. Not because it is empty, but because it is honest. It shows us what noise helped us avoid. And if we can stay there gently, without running away, silence slowly stops feeling like loneliness and starts feeling like home. 3. Not every feeling needs to be escaped. Some emotions arrive like storms: sadness, fear, loneliness, regret. And the mind immediately begins searching for a way out. A distraction, a conversation, a screen, a new desire. Anything that helps us avoid sitting with what we feel. But Rumi understood something that many people spend their whole lives resisting. Pain is not always the enemy. Sometimes it is the beginning of honesty. There are emotions we try to bury so quickly that we never truly listen to what they came to reveal. And yet, the feelings we avoid the most often carry the deepest truths about our lives, about what we have lost, what we need, what we pretend not to feel. Rumi believed that healing does not begin when pain disappears. It begins the moment we stop running from it, the moment we become gentle enough to sit beside our sorrow without trying to silence it immediately. Because not every wound was meant to be hidden. Some wounds arrive to open the heart. 4. The ego survives by keeping the mind restless, always wanting more. More attention, more approval, more certainty, more proof that we matter. And because of this, the mind rarely rests. It keeps comparing, keeps performing, keeps chasing an imagined version of peace that always seems to exist somewhere else. Rumi wrote often about the self that is never satisfied. The part of us that believes worth must constantly be earned. So we exhaust ourselves trying to become someone more successful, more admired, more desirable, more enough. But the strange thing is, even after getting what we wanted, the restlessness often returns, because the hunger was never truly about the thing itself. It was deeper than that. Rumi believed that peace does not come from endlessly feeding the ego. It comes from seeing through it, from realizing that the constant need to prove yourself is not the voice of your soul, only the voice of fear. And maybe real freedom begins the moment you no longer need to become more in order to feel worthy of existing.
5. What you deeply seek shapes you. Most people think desire only moves in one direction, that we're the ones searching for love, for meaning, for peace, for belonging. But Rumi saw something more mysterious in human longing. He believed that the things we are drawn toward also begin shaping us from within. That the heart changes through what it consistently reaches for. And this is why not every pursuit leaves the same mark on the soul. Some desires make the mind noisier, more anxious, more divided. Others make us softer, more awake, more alive. So it becomes important to ask, what is your life quietly moving toward? Because over time, we begin to resemble the things we spend our inner lives chasing. Our attention shapes us, our obsessions shape us, even our hidden longings shape us. And maybe this is why certain people lose themselves so gradually. They spend years pursuing things that were never capable of nourishing the soul. 6. Pain sometimes opens what comfort cannot reach. Pain changes people, but not always in the way we expect. Some pain closes the heart, makes people colder, more distant, more afraid to trust life again. But Rumi believed there is another possibility inside suffering. That sometimes pain breaks open the part of us that comfort could never reach. Because when everything feels stable and predictable, the deeper questions of life often remain asleep. Who am I beneath all of this? What truly matters? What is worth giving my life to? Many people only begin asking these questions after loss, after heartbreak, after uncertainty, after life stops unfolding the way they imagined. And while suffering can leave scars, it can also remove illusions. It can soften arrogance, slow the mind down, make a person more human. Rumi never romanticized pain, but he understood that some forms of suffering do not arrive to destroy us. They arrive to open something, to reveal something, to bring us closer to parts of ourselves we may never have discovered otherwise. 7. Some things cannot be forced. Not everything meaningful in life can be forced. Some things only arrive when we stop chasing them so desperately. Peace, love, clarity, belonging. The harder the mind tries to control these experiences, the more distant they often become. Rumi understood the strange wisdom of allowing, of creating space, instead of constantly pushing life into shape. Because there is a difference between caring deeply about something and gripping it so tightly that fear begins destroying it. Many people exhaust themselves trying to force timing, force answers, force certainty, force relationships to become what they are not. But life rarely unfolds through force. Most beautiful things grow quietly, naturally, gradually, in their own season. And maybe wisdom is not learning how to control everything. Maybe wisdom is learning what to hold gently and what to finally